I got my tea, my iPhone with the mic, and yep, all ready. Let's begin. Hi there, this is Ray from Regards Ray. Who here has struggled with social anxiety? Well, I did, most of my life. I had everything from heart palpitation, nervousness, shaking, the whole deal whenever I'd be in an uncomfortable social situation, or even thinking about it or anticipating it would sometimes trigger it. It's very embarrassing. And so my thinking is, if I get to the bottom of it, right down to the musky basement, to that place that no one wants to go down to, and find the root cause, then maybe I can eradicate it once and for all, and I won't have to deal with it anymore. I mean, this social anxiety must stem from something, right? I mean, I wasn't born with social anxiety. Are you? No, I wasn't. It's something that I developed along the way. So I think this is gonna work. Keep watching if you relate. I always wondered, so I'm gonna ask you guys, is it only me or is it totally exhausting being around people? When I talk to people at work, I feel this immense self-imposed pressure to fit in. I feel like I need to pretend like I care about what is being said, even though in actuality, I don't give a hoot nanny. I stand there with a smile strapped on and nod as I fake interest. I don't know. I think I try to look like I belong because I have this nerve-wracking belief that if I'm myself, I might compulsively and quite involuntarily act weird, much like having Tourette's for social awkwardness. At any given moment during a conversation, I could spasm into an awkward behavior. Terrified by the very possibility of death by mortification, my strategy is to merge my personality with the people that I'm with so that I could pass for normal when I have to socialize. Like Mystique in X-Men, I strive to do away with my awkward blue skin, my alien yellow eyes, and morph into the background among normal human beings. Of course, Mystique does it physically, and I do it with my personality. So the result of this personality shape-shifting is me spending a lot of energy trying to restrain my authentic self from rearing its awkward head and putting my concentration on looking normal. It's so damn exhausting. So most times, I prefer to remain alone. The mental process of appearing normal is very draining. First, I have to catch how people think, then extract how they want me to respond, and then design a response that is non-offensive, politically correct, gender-neutral, non-racial, or insulting in any way. I have to hold back my true self because my true self has clear, possibly offensive opinions that might not be socially acceptable. I need to make my opinions bland enough so that it would be more digestible than its raw form. You see, my true self can be extremely assertive, even borderline aggressive, which can create awkward situations that leave people silently wondering, what's wrong with her? So yes, I'm freaking exhausted. Well, enough is enough. Why is it that I feel pressure to belong? And why am I constantly afraid that I'll make social blunders and embarrass myself? I mean, it's not like I make a clown of myself all the time. So why in the world am I so afraid? I think it all comes down to an irrational suspicion I have about myself, that my true nature is actually repulsive. So much so that I could never, ever belong anywhere with anyone. Afraid that the golem is right, I exert a massive amount of energy pretending that I actually do belong. I feign interest when there is none, pretend to care even though I actually don't, and dilute my opinion as blandly as I can, all in the name of fitting in. I thought about this deeply. Why? What was my problem? And this is when I had a deep realization. I realized that this self-induced social anxiety was rooted in a deeper, more spiritual level. The core belief that the issue was springing from was the idea of separateness. Yes, the feeling of not belonging was springing from my belief in separateness. Let me explain. It's going to get pretty deep, so if you're still with me, then... Anyway, let's continue. Most people walk around with the belief that we are separate and alone. We believe that we are separate from spirit, that we are all alone, and that it's all up to us to figure out how to survive, that no one is going to help us. We believe we're separate from nature, which is why we pollute it so easily, thinking that our actions won't affect us directly. And finally, we believe that we are separate from each other. We walk around with a them versus me mentality. I need to protect my friends and family from them. I need to protect myself from them. I need to shield my children from them, etc., and etc. I realized that my social anxiety was coming from the idea of separation from them. But who is the them in our minds? Think about it. Who are the them our mind is referring to? People out there? If so, which people and where? You have to understand, when our mind says them, it is clumping every human being as one and separating my little old self as the other. It's the mass versus me, the world against me sentiment. But if we were to see everything clearly and call the bullcrap our mind is playing on us, we would see that them is a mind-constructed idea of the others. There is no true them. The truth is, in our physical reality, there are individuals like you and me who all think the other is part of them, that they themselves are the odd one out. To everyone else, you are clumped into this group called others as well. The idea of them is one that is dangerous because it infers that, in the worst case scenario, you over there could possibly turn out to be an enemy. So what ends up happening is everyone treats everyone else as either an enemy they must protect themselves from or a friend to conjoin their powers with. If you're always trying to fit in with them, but none of us considers ourselves part of them, then who are the them? And who are we really trying to belong to? So in this sense, them is an illusion. In this sense, the vague sense of others is an illusion. Because really, no matter how it feels like in our minds, we have much more in common than we are different. The reality is everyone thinks that they're alone and everyone else is part of the others. We all think we're the odd one out. So how does this all relate back to me? Because I saw the separation between others and me, I believed that it was them against me. And in order to survive, I needed to feel like I belonged to them. Them, a clump of group that shared an inherent bond exclusive to me. At least that's what my mind thought. I needed to fit in with them. If I didn't want to feel lonely anymore, I needed to fit in. And because I was trying to fit in with others, I also feared the possibility of not being able to. My fear was so strong and so real that my mind had reasoned that there was a reason I wouldn't be able to fit in, and irrationally concluded that somehow I was repulsive. Everyone would find out that I'm repulsive, so I needed to be on the defensive constantly. So now I'm working on viewing the world without separation. No them and me. Just all me. So what do you think, guys? What helped you with your social anxiety? Comment down below. I'd love to hear your stories and tips. Don't forget to like and subscribe because, well, as a tiny YouTuber, I'm desperate for some interaction. If you found this video thought-provoking, you might also like my video on what were you meant to do on Earth. And like always, thanks for hearing me out. I'm sending you good vibes through this screen so that your day is mind-blowingly fantastic. Regards, Ray.